think this is my first video back. This video is just going to be rather short and sweet, and it's going to be lessons I've learned from Capricorns. And I just want to say that with each video and each sign, I will be focusing on how I know people based on their sun sign because it's just easier, it's more accessible, blah blah blah. But for this video, where it's Capricorn, it's kind of more like lessons I've learned from myself, and I think it's kind of fitting because we're going into a new year. It is January, which is my birthday month. It's Capricorn season, so why not start with Capricorns? I've never been super close to like a lot of Capricorns. I don't know why that is. There's certain signs that I'm just not. I feel like you guys can all relate. So basically the Capricorns I know are like myself, my dog, and a few people I've kind of met along the way, but nobody that I'm super close to. As these videos go on to other signs, there are people that, like, obviously I've learned stuff from, and I will let you know who they are if it's, you know, appropriate. But for things I've learned from Capricorns is sometimes you can focus too much on the past and too much on what has happened before. Like sometimes we feel inclined to look at the past through a golden light, so to speak, and we make the past better than it really was. We look at certain people in a light that isn't really accurate, and because of this it can make our present seem not as happy. And being a Capricorn, there is a big focus with any Capricorn influence on nostalgia, on the past, on things that have happened before and come before. And while I think it's very important to keep the past in mind, to learn from the past, I do think a lesson I've learned is to not be so hard on myself, and also to really look at the past as it really was. I think that's a lesson I'm still learning. I think it's a lesson I will forever be learning, and I want to leave you with this quote, if I can find my phone. I read a quote in the book when I was reading Jaws so many years ago. I actually hung it to my wall. I think it was in like high school. Okay, I found part of the quote that I'm thinking of, so let me just read it to you. The past always seems better when you look back on it than it did at the time, and the present never looks as good as it will in the future. It's depressing if you spend too much time reliving old joys. You think you'll never have anything as good again. And there's another part in the book, I don't know the exact line, I can't find it, but it goes on to say that you might forget the fact that you're reliving this awesome day in your head that nothing can beat, but you forget that at the time there was a lot of flies around that you were swatting and that were annoying you. Or maybe you had a sunburn that was like making you miserable. So I think, like, as a Capricorn, a lesson I've learned from myself is to stop putting so much emphasis on the past, to give myself a break, to, you know, first of all, to enjoy the present more by not focusing so much on the past and looking at it in a light that maybe it doesn't always deserve to be looked at in. Yes, there's great things obviously that happen that we should hold on to and relish, but there's certain things that maybe weren't as good as we make them out to be, and it's important to remember that and to really appreciate what you have right now. Lesson 2 I learned from Capricorns, and this kind of goes along with the other thing, but maybe not really, is that no matter how bad it is, no matter what you did, no matter what mistake you made, no matter how mean of a thing you said, no matter how awful of a thing you think you did, no matter how terrible you were, how much you maybe embarrassed yourself, how you wish you really didn't do that thing, you can always pick yourself up and dust yourself off. Always. And I think I've learned that lesson as a Capricorn. That's maybe a Capricorn trait, maybe it's a human trait, but that no matter how bad it is in that moment and how terrible you might feel, you can always stand up again, pick yourself up, and move forward and be okay again. Even if it feels like you did the worst thing on the planet, and maybe you did, you can always come back from that in some way, if you want to, and if you want to put the effort in to do so, and if you're willing to perhaps make some changes to move forward. Lesson 3, and I think I'm going to keep it at 3. By the way, I'm doing this off the top of my head, from Capricorns, is that hard work will get you everywhere. Now, you don't have to be pushing through blood, sweat, and tears in order to do it, but if you want something, be willing to put in the effort to get it. So much of our life today is based off of instant gratification and want something immediately, and trust me, I fall into that trap all the time. But I think the harder you push yourself and the more work you're willing to put into something, the more that you're willing to give your time to something that you want, the better it will turn out for you in the end. I think success really can be there for you if you want it. maybe it's not where you thought it was, but I think that if you put the effort into something, and it doesn't have to be just career-wise or stuff like that, but if you put effort into your relationships with other people, into yourself, I think it really will always pay off in the end. And the harder you work towards something, you know, without burning yourself out, I think the more you will get from it in the end. So those are 3 lessons that I have learned from Capricorns, namely myself. I promise as these videos go on, I will talk about other people as well that have inspired me and that have taught me things in my life. So that is it. I will see you guys in my next video, and have a good day or night. Also, sorry, I'm so sick. I know my voice sounds terrible, like maybe I'm about to cry, but I promise it's just like that awful thing where your voice is kind of there, kind of not, and it just sounds creepy. Bye!